So this decided that it wanted to look absolutely amazing today, because, like, you're seeing this, like, I don't know how it looks this good, because the last time I did that, because I've done this head thing before, it did not, I don't know what I did differently, but this looks way better than it did the first time I did it. So, like, okay, like, shit, let's go. But what is up, my dudes, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, what's up? I am One Creative Ginger, and in this house we have salty takes and emotional rants over fictional media, all while wearing the most amazing makeup you've ever seen in your entire life, and that is a fact. So, does that sound like fun? Well, how about helping a bitch out by clicking that subscribe button, and if you find at least one of your brain cells enjoying at least a millisecond of this video, why not hit the like button too? Alright, so kicking off for the second season of The Mandalorian, we got Mando trying to find another Mandalorian so he can help return Baby Yoda to his own kind, which he thinks is the Jedi because he don't know shit about Jedi, you know, so so he goes to Tatooine because that's where he thinks he'll find one. And we get to see this lady, again, who's really cool. She directs him to this mining town, and he meets the marshal who has Mandalorian armor that suspiciously looks like Boba Fett's armor, you know? So, wonder how he got that. And yeah, so of course, the marshal ends up taking his helmet off, and Mando's like, okay, well, you're obviously not a real Mandalorian, right? But, so yeah, so he sees that, and he's like, well, you gotta give me the armor, because you're not allowed to have Mandalorian armor if you're not a Mandalorian, right? So they end up having like this Western standoff. Oh, it was so fun. I love those where, you know, they have the little they're reaching for the gun kind of thing. I love that. So they had a little scene like that, but they end up getting interrupted by this thing called a crate dragon, which I thought was like a sarlacc. Yeah, I thought it was a sarlacc for a second, but it's not, because sarlaccs just stay in their little holes, right? So it's not a sarlacc, it's a crate dragon apparently, so. So they have to deal with that. So Mando ends up striking a deal with the marshal, and he's like, okay, I'll help you kill the dragon if you give me the armor, alright? And so the guy's like, okay, yeah, that's a great deal, because the dragon's been fucking with his town, and he doesn't like that, and he's like, it's only a matter of time before they, you know, the dragon stops eating, like, the livestock and starts actually going after people, you know? So he doesn't want that, so he wants the dragon dead, and Mando wants the armor, so it's a win-win. They actually team up, like, Mando and the marshal and the whole town, actually. They all team up with the Tusken Raiders, and it's so nice to see them, like, interacting with the Raiders in, like, a non-violent way, because you get to see that, hey, they're actually not that bad. Yeah, so Mando and the whole town, they end up teaming up with the Tusken Raiders, and they all try to blow up the dragon, because, like, the underbelly is the weak point, so they bury a bunch of explosives, and they try to lure it out so it will go on top of the explosives and hopefully die, you know? But, of course, shit goes sideways almost immediately, so Mando ends up coming up with this big brain idea that he's gonna grab a bantha that has just a bunch of explosives stored on it, you know? So he grabs one of those, and he ends up luring the dragon over to him and the bantha, and the dragon swallows both of them, so we're like, oh shit, what's gonna happen now? But turns out Mando actually, like, electrocutes the dragon, and then he's able to activate the explosives that are now inside the dragon, and he blows it up into pieces, and everything's great now, because it's dead. But yeah, oh man, that scene was insane, or at least, like, that whole section of the episode where they're fighting the dragon. Holy shit, it was a fun time. I enjoyed that very much, and it was a great way to kick off this second season, because damn, that was fun. I liked how they were all working together and actually trying to, like, kill this thing, and then it's like spitting acid at people and just melting the shit out of them. That was cool. I liked that. And also getting to see Mando and the marshal flying around with their jetpacks, that was fun. I liked that. But yeah, so now the dragon's dead, and the marshal ends up giving Mando the armor that he had, and they, you know, they end up having, like, this mutual respect for each other, because at the beginning, they didn't really like each other, or at least Mando was like, fuck this guy for having this Mandalorian armor when he shouldn't, which turns out he actually bought the armor from some Jawas who found this randomly on the sands of Tatooine. So it was nice to see them leaving with like this mutual respect, and it kind of implies that we're gonna see the Marshal again, because he was a cool character. I liked him a lot. He was fun. Yeah, so Mando ends up leaving the town on a speeder bike, and everything's good. Except there's a mysterious figure watching him ride off into the sunset, you know? And I wonder who that is. So then we have episode 2, and it basically starts off from where the last one ended, with Mando speeding around on his bike, and then he gets fucked up and the speeder explodes because some pirates decided to say, hey, let's rob this guy. And so, you know, then one of them threatens to like stab Baby Yoda with a knife, and Mando's not having it, so, you know, he fucks that guy up. And then little Baby Yoda's just like, oh god, it was so cute. Like, he just runs over and he's like, please give me a hug, Mando. It was so, oh my god, it was so cute. I loved that. Oh. But like, yeah, so then Mando ends up going back to the town, and I think her name is Peely, you know, the lady from the last episode that I really like. Yeah, I think her name's Peely. But yeah, so she's able to give Mando information on where some Mandalorians might be, but he needs to take this frog lady with him, and he also can't use the hyperdrive because she has these little eggs that are like the last of her bloodline, and she like can't make any more, I guess. So, you know, precious cargo, right? So, you know, he can't jump to hyperspace or anything like that, because then they'll die. So he kind of has to travel the old-fashioned way, which isn't the best thing, because apparently that's really dangerous, because, you know, people will fuck with you if you're just out in space, not in hyperspace, you know. So there's that, and yeah, so he ends up getting tracked down by these New Republic guys who seem a little sleazy, a little greasy. So Mando's like, okay, we're not dealing with these guys. So he ends up running, and they end up hiding on an ice planet away from the New Republic fighters, and that doesn't go well because their ship gets super fucked up in the process, and so they're kind of stranded on this ice planet. And I swear to god, Baby Yoda was pissing me the hell off in this episode because he kept eating the goddamn eggs. And we know, like he was eating frogs in the last season, but this little bastard decided that no, he's gonna keep eating these eggs. Like, I don't know how many he ate, but he ate a lot of them. Like, at least 5 of them, maybe 10, who knows? Like, he was slurping them up, like, you know, all the fucking time. It pissed me off so much, because it's like, god damn it, no, this is the last of her eggs, you know, so you can't be like slurping them up or anything. But yeah, so while Mando's trying to fix the ship, you know, they have to deal with these spider squid things. I don't know what the hell they were. Yeah, so those little fuckers were really annoying, just like running around. Oh god, they were, yeah, not a fan of those. They were just annoying. But like, yeah, apparently the 2 Republic fighters that were chasing Mando down, they end up saving his life, and they're just like, well, we're supposed to arrest you, but like, you did, you know, help imprison all these random, you know, assholes, remember from the last season, those just annoying people that he went with on the prison break. So we're gonna let you go, you know, because, you know, they're greasy little fuckers. So I don't know, that was kind of weird that they were just there. I don't know. That was just kind of weird in that episode, that they were like, oh yeah, we should be arresting you, but not really. Peace. And they don't even help him, like, fix his ship or anything, so it was like, okay, but, like, yeah. I don't know, they were weird. I didn't like those guys, but, like, yeah, but, Mando ends up fixing the ship himself, and so then they're actually able to literally limp to the planet they were supposed to go to in the first place. And yeah, as it's flying, it's just got, like, the whole bottom back hatch is just hanging open as they're flying through space. It was... yeah, that was pretty funny, but like, yeah, so that's where that one ends. So then we have the next episode, and like the last one, it starts off where the last one ended off. So, you know, they're making the crash landing on the planet they were headed to in the first place, and yeah, he ends up falling into the water, and they have to, like, bring a crane to lift his ship out of the water. That was a fun way to start that episode. I thought that was funny. But yeah, so he drops off the frog lady, and she's able to join her husband, and they're all very happy that they have most of their eggs, because fucking Baby Yoda, god damn it, he just couldn't control himself for something, I don't know. So yeah, so he tries to find Mandalorians, and he starts asking around, and then there's this octopus guy, squid guy, I don't know, and he's like, oh yeah, I can take you there. And so Mando and Baby Yoda go, and then this motherfucker tries to drown Mando and both Baby Yoda by, like, pushing them into this little water pit where there's, like, this monster in there. So they're like, woo, now we'll get all the Beskar, and then we'll be rich, you know? So it's like, great. That's annoying. But luckily, the Mandalorians he was after find them and then just fuck up all the squid dudes and saves both Mando and Baby Yoda. So yay, that's nice. And we get to see that one of them is Bo-Katan. So that's really cool. I did like her in the Clone Wars, so I'm glad she shows up. And yeah, and then these other two Mandalorians, I don't know, I've never seen them before, but, like, yeah, they show up as well. But Mando is not a fan when they, you know, take off their helmets, and he's just like, what, you're obviously not real Mandalorians. And Bo-Katan's like, really, bitch? You know, because, yeah, you know, but, like, apparently Mando had been taken in by, like, a really weird religious-y cult version of the Mandalorians, and Bo-Katan's like, yeah, they're fucking weird, and yeah, they kind of brainwashed you to be like, I can never remove my helmet, that kind of thing. So he's just like, no, I don't care, you're not real Mandalorians, peace. And so he leaves. But you know, they end up meeting up again when the squid guys are like, you killed my brother, prepare to die, that kind of thing. And so he ends up helping Bo-Katan take over an Imperial freighter that has a bunch of Mandalorian artifacts on there, and she's like, we're getting those back so we can get our planet back, you know. And she's also after the Darksaber because, you know, she wants the throne of Mandalore, right? But yeah, and then Bo-Katan, you know, she has suspicions that a certain Moff Gideon has her Darksaber, which obviously he does. And so she ends up asking one of the Imperial officers, and he's just like, obviously he does, the fuck are you talking about, why are you asking me, that kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, so now she knows that Moff Gideon has a Darksaber and has, you know, and really wants it back, you know? So she has a reason to go after him, you know? And yeah, so during all this, Mando actually, you know, has a very heroic moment where he tries to blow up a bunch of stormtroopers while they're kind of, you know, they got all the Mandalorians backed into a corner, right? And so Bo-Katan notices that, and she's like, you're cool. So, you know, if you ever want to join us and shit like that, you know, give us a call, that kind of thing. So that was cute that she was like, yeah, he's cool. But yeah, so she tells him where to find Ahsoka Tano on this, like, I think it's a moon, maybe a planet, but I think it's a moon. But, like, she's like, yeah, that's where you'll find her, you know, because you're looking for a Jedi, right? And that's where that episode ends. But unfortunately, we're not going to see Ahsoka quite yet, because in this episode, Mando goes back to Navarro so he can meet up with Cara Dune and Greef so he can get his ship properly prepared, because, you know, it's pretty fucked up, right? So while the ship's being repaired, he's able to help Cara and Greef take out this old Imperial base, because they want Navarro to be just completely free of just any Imperial influence whatsoever, so they want to take this one out. So now Navarro will be able to be like this trading hub, so you can get that money, right? So their plan is to blow up the base, and they end up finding that this might actually be a secret lab of some sort, because they see these little cloning tubes that, I don't know, might have Palpatine clones in them, because, like, who else are they going to be cloning around this time? Because it's like, this is after the original trilogy and all that shit, so it's like, who else are they going to be cloning at this point? Because, you know, it's not going to be Jango Fett, right? So it's like, yeah, that's concerning. but they're not able to stick around and really figure out what the hell's going on with these clones, you know, so, and not the fun kind of clones, you know, but, yeah, so they have to leave before the base blows up, so, they're getting out of there, and holy shit, like, I love Cara Dune. Oh my gosh, she is such a bad bitch, especially in this episode, because she's just kicking so much ass with just trying to, you know, help them escape, right? Because Mando ends up using his jetpack to go find Baby Yoda because they're a little concerned that someone's gonna snatch him because they left him in the town because they were like, you know, we can't really bring him with while we're trying to explode this base, right? So Mando takes off on his jetpack. So yeah, God, she was so good with like getting them the hell out of there. She just kicked so much ass. She's just amazing. But yeah, so they're able to escape on this like Imperial speeder, I guess. I don't know. They escape in that, and they get chased down by the remaining Imperials that they didn't blow up, and then Mando ends up coming to their rescue in his newly repaired ship that looks very nice. And yeah, and while Mando's taking out all these Imperial TIE fighters, Baby Yoda's with him, and he's sitting in his little chair, and he's just like, wee! Having the fucking time of his life, just spinning around in the ship. Oh god, it was so cute. But yeah, so now that there's no Imperials, Mando leaves, but unfortunately, we find out that one of the repair guys had planted a tracking device onto Mando's ship. So now Gideon can track him and steal Baby Yoda at some point, so that's not good. So now we're on to episode 5, and we finally get to see our girl Ahsoka, and we see that she's trying to free this town from this crazy lady that named Morgan Elsbeth. I'm pretty sure that's her name, or how you pronounce it, but like, yeah, so she's trying to free this town because this bitch is crazy. She is not treating this town very well, you know? So Mando ends up landing, and he goes to the town, and he ends up talking to Morgan, who ends up offering him a pure Beskar spear if he goes and kills Ahsoka for her, because Ahsoka's been a thorn in her side, you know? So she's like, if you kill her, you get the Beskar. You know, it's a win-win, right? So Mando goes to find Ahsoka, but he doesn't kill her. He ends up asking her to train Grogu, because we actually find out that his name is Grogu in this episode, which is really cool, because like Ahsoka does the whole little mind meld so she can actually talk to him, you know, which is really cute. But yeah, so she ends up telling Mando that Grogu had been trained under Jedi Masters before, but then, you know, Order 66 happened, and shit got fucked, and they had to hide him, and he couldn't use his powers or anything, because, you know, he needs to hide, so he can't really be doing Jedi shit, because then people are gonna get a little suspicious, right? So, that's why his powers are not where they should be, because, you know, he's like 50 years old or something, like, he's been training for quite a while, you know, obviously. But, yeah, she also finds out that he has a very strong attachment to Mando, and, you know, we all know what happens when Jedi have strong attachments, you know, so she's like, I ain't touching that, you're on your own at this point. But, like, Mando's like, okay, well, if I help you free this town, will you train him? And she's kind of like, maybe, you know? So, you know, Mando ends up helping her free the town, and, during this, Ahsoka ends up fighting Morgan, and she asks her where Grand Admiral Thrawn is. Which is interesting, because obviously this is after Rebels, because Rebels comes before the original trilogy, and this is clearly after the original trilogy. So, yeah, like, maybe we'll get, like, an answer to what the fuck happened at the end of Rebels, because that'd be really cool to see, you know, Thrawn, and also maybe Ezra and Hera, like, that would be fun to see. Like, yeah, like, why'd she ask about Thrawn, you know? So that's interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, so then at the end, now that they have the town free and they're all happy, you know, Ahsoka ends up telling Mando to, instead of her training Grogu, to instead bring him to this, like, Jedi temple rock thing, and, you know, so Grogu can either, you know, choose to be a Jedi or not, and if he does choose to be one, he can reach through the Force, and then any remaining Jedi will sense him and then come to his location, you know, that kind of thing. So he'll be able to find a Jedi that will actually train him, because Ahsoka doesn't want to do that shit, you know? But yeah, so that's how that episode ends. But yeah, so moving on to episode 6. So obviously Mando's taking Grogu to the Jedi Temple Rock so he can do his little Jedi thing and find a Jedi Master through the Force, that kind of thing. But we end up seeing a familiar ship, and Mando ends up meeting Boba Fett, who wants his armor back, and and we find out Fennec Shand isn't dead. You know, because, yes, of course she wasn't going to be. So it was nice to see her again, because in these next episodes, she's fucking awesome. So I'm really glad that they didn't kill her off, because she was fun. I liked her a lot. So, glad she's not dead. So they end up teaming up with Mando, because Mando's like, okay, you know, I'll give you the armor if you help me protect a child, right? Because then a bunch of Imperials, because obviously the tracking device is still on Mando's ship and he doesn't know it, so Gideon tracked him to this place. But also Grogu does like this whole like force field, I guess is the only way you could really call it that, unless there's another name for it. But like, yeah, he has a force field that's just shooting up into the sky, so maybe that's how I think they tracked Mando's ship, because why else would they put the tracking device there, right? So they do that, so they tracked him down, they send a bunch of stormtroopers down there, so yeah, Amanda's like, I'll give you the armor, but you gotta help me protect the child, right? And so they're like, okay, cool, yeah, we'll do that. So they help him fight off the stormtroopers, and it's so fucking hilarious, because these little fuckers were so dramatic in how they were dying. It was so funny to watch, and I think, not the last one, but when they were on Navarro, oh my god, everyone was just so dramatic in how they were dying. It was so funny to watch. Boba Fett and Fennec, they were some bad bitches in this episode. They were kicking mad ass, and they were just so fun to watch. Like, they were good shit in this episode. They were popping off with kicking ass, you know, so they were fun. They were really fun. Oh, but yeah, so that's basically where the fun ends in this episode, because then goddamn Moff Gideon ends up just nuking Mando's ship, blowing it to bits, literally incinerating it, and the only thing left is his like Beskar spear that he got from the last episode, you know, so like, that's not good. And then, yeah, to top it all off, Gideon sends these really dumb things called Dark Troopers. They're dumb. I hate them. Yeah, no. But they, unfortunately, successfully kidnap Grogu. And it's not fun. But yeah, so then after that happens, Mando's like, okay, well, see ya guys, our deal's done now. And of course Boba Fett's like, no, not so fast, bitch, you know, and he's like, our deal is not done, because the deal was to protect the child, and I get the armor, right? And the child isn't protected, because he obviously got kidnapped, right? So, see, like, just, Boba Fett, like, good shit, like, he's a real one, like, goddamn, that was very sweet of him to be like, because he could have just been like, okay, peace, you know, because Mando was kind of expecting them to, and and he and Fennec were just like, nah, we're gonna help you save the child, like, the fuck are you talking about, right? So that was very cool of them. So they end up going back to Navarro, because Mando needs help tracking down Mayfield from the last season. He's the guy with the little pew-pew gun. One of those assholes that I actually did tolerate. Like, the rest of them, I didn't like. Mayfield was okay. So apparently he's gonna go track him down and break him out of prison, and he asks Cara to help him because she's the marshal for the New Republic now, so she's got some power in there, so, you know, she's the perfect person to ask to, you know, find Mayfield, right? So, yeah, we have that, but, something sad I noticed in the end credits, there's concept art for when Grogu's being kidnapped by those stupid-ass Dark Troopers. God, they're so dumb. But oh my god, the concept art just has him, like, in tears, just bawling his eyes out as he's, like, reaching out for Mando. Oh my god! It was so sad, but it's, like, it was also kind of jarring, because, like, Grogu never, like, has any emotion on his face, so in the actual show, he's just kind of, like, he has no idea what the fuck's going on. that's what his face looks like. But in this concept art, he looks so sad. Yeah, fuck those dark troopers. I don't like him. But yeah, that's the end of that episode. But yeah, so then we got episode 7, where Cara Dune is able to legally break Mayfield out of prison, because, you know, she has the whole Marshal of the New Republic, so she has this whole thing where she's like, okay, hand the prisoner over to me, because we're transferring him over here, you know, that kind of thing, or we're giving him this new task. So they need him so they can break into an Imperial mining facility, so they can access the computer to find out where Moff Gideon's ship is, so they need the coordinates for that. So Mando and Mayfield go commandeer this, like, transport shuttle, and it has, like, it's carrying a bunch of, like, highly explosive material, and there's, like, 5 of these little shuttles in total, because they're all making their way to the mining facility, so they commandeer one of those so they can go in undercover, right? And so as they're going, pirates start blowing up each of these transports, and they're the only one that survives, so when they get to the facility, everyone's like, holy shit, fuck yeah, and they're all cheering them on for, like, making it, and it was kind of interesting, because, like, it really reminds me of, like, whenever, like, the rebel fighters and, like, the original trilogy, like, they were all, like, cheering on, you know, that, you know, yay, the Empire's defeated, that kind of thing. It really looked, it had a similar vibe to how they were cheering for them returning in the shuttle, you know, it had that same vibe. So it was interesting to see that, like, comparison, to compare the Empire to the rebels, and to see, like, hey, yeah, they're kind of the same, because Mayfield even has this little one-sided conversation with Mando, how everyone's the same, we're not all, you know, we're not so different, that kind of thing. So it was interesting that he says that, and then we get to see this little parallel between, you know, the Empire and the rebels cheering on, you know, their own, you know, just having their own little celebrations, and them being very, very similar, you know. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, so to get the coordinates, they need to go into this little lunchroom, and Mayfield chickens out because he's like, ooh, I kind of recognize that one officer, but I don't know if he recognizes me, but I'm not gonna chance it. And Mando's like, fuck it, I'll go do it. But, like, you have to have your actual face scanned in order to access the thing, and so Mando has to take off his helmet to do that, and so he ends up getting the coordinates, and the officer that Mayfield was trying to avoid ends up trying to talk to Mando, and Mayfield's like, okay, well, we need to bullshit our way through this, so he comes to his aid and everything. But they end up sitting with the officer, and oh god, this guy was such a creepy little fucker. I did not like him. But luckily, Mayfield just ends up shooting the bitch out of fucking nowhere. And, like, this whole time that they're talking, Mando doesn't have his helmet on. So Mayfield's seen his face, which is interesting, and everyone else has seen his face, you know? When he's supposed to have this vow where he never takes his helmet off, that kind of thing, so that's the thing. But yeah, Mayfield just shoots this bitch, which thank God, because that guy was, yeah, deserved it. Well deserved, you know? But, like, yeah, everyone's just kind of, like, sitting there for a second going, like, what the fuck just happened? So, obviously, shit goes sideways after Mayfield literally shoots this fucker, and so they end up escaping, and they get picked up by Boba in his little ship, so they're able to get the fuck out of there. And as they're leaving, Mayfield actually shoots the transport that has all the explosive material. He shoots that, and then it blows the entire facility, and Cara ends up seeing that, because she had a problem with him because of the whole serving the Empire, that kind of thing, but she sees him blow up the facility and is like, oh, you know, this guy isn't so bad, because he's just like, yeah, you know, I wanted to do that because it would help my help clear my conscience, that kind of thing, because he just did it for because he wanted to, you know, because it wasn't part of the plan. So that was nice that he did that. So, you know, we got to see more of him, which was really nice, because yeah, it did help round out his character a little more. So that was nice to see him do that. And then Kara's like, okay, well, we're not going to take you back to prison. We're just going to say that you died in this whole operation, that kind of thing. And so he's able to walk free. So that's nice, because yeah, he's not a bad dude. So now they're off to find Gideon, because now they have the coordinates to his ship, so they can save Grogu. And this episode ends with Mando sending a very threatening hologram to Gideon, who looks a little worried, as he should be, because he's a baby stealing bastard. You know? Whew, okay, yeah, so now we're at the last episode where they end up capturing this scientist dude from, you know, the beginning of the first season that was experimenting on Baby Yoda, you know. So we've seen him before, and Mando and Boba actually go to find Bo-Katan and this other Mandalorian chick. There was a dude with them, but I don't know where he went. He's not there anymore, so it's just the two of them. And so Mando says that they're going after Gideon, and, you know, Bo-Katan wants the Darksaber, and Gideon's got the Darksaber, so she's like, okay, I'm gonna tag along. Let's do this shit, you know? So she and the other Mandalorian chick, they join Mando's little crew, and they go to find Grogu. So all the ladies go to find Gideon, while Mando goes alone to go find Grogu, but turns out Grogu's being held hostage with a Darksaber just over his head by fucking Gideon, so, you know, he's not on the bridge like everyone else thought, so they're all just kind of like, shit, what do we do? But, yeah, so Mando and Gideon end up fighting, and Mando defeats the bastard. So now he's got the Darksaber, but unfortunately, there's a bunch of Dark Troopers headed for them, but, you know, luckily they all get destroyed by a Jedi, of all people. And it ends up being Luke, so that's pretty cool. So Mando tells Grogu that he has to go with Luke so Luke can train him to be a Jedi. And oh my god, this part was so fucking cute, because Grogu ends up touching Mando's helmet because he's never seen Mando's face and he wants to see it before, you know, he goes with this random Jedi, because who knows when he's gonna see Mando again, right? So, you know, he wants to see his face, and he immediately takes off his helmet, even though there's a shit ton of people around. He doesn't give a fuck. He takes that bitch off, and then Grogu just touches his cheek, and it's so cute, and it's so sad, because when Mando puts him down, Grogu just latches onto his leg, and he's like, no, I don't want to go. It's so like, legit, that shit made me cry. I was tearing up. I'm tearing up a little bit right now, so it's like, shit. Whew. It's sad, because, yeah, that's just how it ends. They just end with Grogu leaving with Luke, and Mando's just sitting there trying not to cry because, you know, that's his son. His son going away to college, that kind of thing. Except he's going away to Jedi college for God knows how long. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, that's just how it ends. And it's just like, ooh. Oh, this is such a fun season to watch. They just went so hard, and I appreciate it, because we got just everyone being a complete badass, especially our gorgeous, sexy ladies that we got in this show. They were just mwah, beautiful. I loved watching them just fucking bitches up. Oh, it looked so good, and it was so fun to watch them just fuck up these stormtroopers who were just dramatically dying. They were so funny to watch. They were so great. And I noticed we didn't have any gross stormtroopers with like their little floppy cod pieces like we had in the last season. I really fucking hated those. So I'm glad we didn't have floppy cod pieces just flapping in our faces for once. So that was good. Oh my god. And yeah, Ahsoka, obviously, she looked really good, but the only thing that was a little off-putting was like her little, I think they're called lekus, or likus, this thing. They were like really short, which was weird, because yeah, this is after Rebels, and also after the original trilogy, so she should have like really long ones, considering she's pretty damn old at this point, because yeah, they were just like up to here, really, which it might have been just because it was easier for the actress to actually fight with it on, but I don't know. I mean, it's like you could have just like glued it to the outfit and then it wouldn't have moved around, you know, like you could have done that. But I don't know, that was just something weird that I noticed with her. Like, it was just kind of weird that she had really short ones when she really shouldn't, you know, so honestly, yeah, that's like the only weird thing about her. I did like Moff Gideon though. He was a pretty interesting villain because he was very sneaky and a little bitch too. But his dark troopers were so fucking stupid. Like, all they did was really stand around menacingly, just sitting there. Like, I mean, when Luke was killing these bitches one by one, they didn't really do anything. They were like shooting at him, but they were so incompetent. They didn't do anything. And like when they were trying to blast down the door, they just had 2 of them punching, when I think you could have just taken like all of them, just as much as, you know, they could fit in the corridor, and just start shooting the door. I think that would have been more effective, but they just decided, nah, just 2 of us punching the door, that'll be fine. So that was yeah, they were just dumb. And the fact that they had this random dubstep music in the background as like their theme or something, as they're just like walking around, it was so off-putting because it just sounded so out of place. Like, we've been hearing all this like western-y style music, and then we just get dubstep out of nowhere. So that was a little weird choice. But like, Dark Troopers, they're dumb. They don't do shit. They're even more useless than a goddamn battle droid. But yeah, so the next season seems to imply that we're gonna get some, like, Rebels characters showing up, because I mean, Ahsoka was asking where Thrawn was, so, like, I'm assuming he's gonna show up in the second season, just like Ahsoka's gonna show up, hopefully, because I'd like to see more of her, obviously. But it's like, I feel like we're gonna see, like, Ezra, maybe Hera show up, because that would be really great if we got to see them show up. We also might see Nala Se, because, I do remember at the end of the first season of Bad Batch, she's introduced to a scientist that is wearing the same uniform as this guy right here. So, maybe we'll see, because, yeah, we got introduced to, like, some cloning going on, and that's why they needed Grogu, right? So, maybe we'll see Nala Se, because that would be nice, because, yeah, she's got to be involved with the cloning process, because, like, that's why they let her live. That's why the Empire let her live in Bad Batch. So it's like, she's got to have something to do with cloning crusty-ass Palpatine. But yeah, this was way more interesting than the last season, so I'm definitely excited to see what they're going to do in Season 3, so I guess we'll have to watch out for that. But yeah, so that's basically all I have to say about Season 2 of The Mandalorian. If you guys have any thoughts and feelings about this show, share all that good shit in the comments down below. If you're interested in following me on other social media, I post art and cosplay related content on my Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Twitter, if that's the kind of shit you're into. So, if you enjoyed this video, why not like, subscribe, and smack that bell if you'd like to see more of my face every Saturday when I post a new video. And don't forget to stay sparkly, my dude!